Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here. Welcome to our review for Red Ranger Becomes an Adventure, Episode 10. This was the continuation of the pretty big episode from last week. I didn't feel like it was as good as last week. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still good. I just think that last week kind of surprised me with how much went down. But this was a very solid continuation of it, as we left off with, what's this dude's name? Azir. Azir stole the driver from Reina, and he's using it classic Fi style, you know, stealing a belt. We basically get a Rider versus Sentai battle there at the beginning, and the thing I found funny, well, before we get to the real funny part, which is probably my favorite part of the episode, is he used so many more forms. Like, she only used, I think, one ability form or whatever that she had. He was using at least 2 or 3 different forms, which I just thought was funny that he was the one that got to showcase that. And it makes sense he would probably know how it works, at least to a degree, because he's been around her. But that was really cool. And yet again, I love the design and concept for these, especially like the crocodile form I thought was really cool. One thing also, speaking of forms, when I needed to look up what this guy's name was, and I stumbled upon, I think it was like a Reddit thread of people just discussing it. When I was looking for the name, I saw people discussing what categorizations the forms are. No, stop. You stop it right now. We get enough of that in the main series. We don't need this meaningless nonsense in this just fun anime. Stop it with that. That just immediately set me off. And then it set me off again thinking about it. Ooh, I'm getting hot right now. Anyway, it's not that mad, but it really is annoying as hell. The best part about this beginning fight, and my favorite part of the episode, was yet again another characters reacting to a Sentai gag, and I think they've balanced that pretty well. I don't think I'll ever get fully tired of it, but I'm still always going to laugh at it. But they were commenting on how obnoxious the battle was between the two of them as they're constantly setting off attacks and transformations, and you hear the Changer and the Henshin device battling for attention with the voices. You even had Logi covering Teltina's ears, which was a funny like icing on the cake moment with that. And it was so true, like, I don't think I've seen a moment in like one of the Sentai Rider crossovers where something like this has happened, but it definitely reminded me of when you get later into a Rider series and you have 3 to 4 main leads and they all transform next to each other and it's just a bunch of obnoxious singing and voices over each other. It was just so true to that, especially I couldn't help to flash back to like, I think it was Revice. I think Saber had it too, but like not only did you have the loud noises, but then they have like all the CGI behind them, so it was both visually and like audio-wise loud. And I thought that was like one of the funniest gags because it was so true but in a different way. And again, Logi covering Teltina's ears was just icing on the cake. In addition to this, we get some more flashbacks about Azir's kind of conflict and what brought him to this. And basically it's about running his kingdom, and the citizens aren't happy with him because they're working with elves and they're like revolting. And then of course Reina did reach out for help, but he didn't accept it. I think maybe in part because he didn't want to see the optics of that. That's at least what I was thinking. But also he kind of wanted to do it on his own. And his overall thing is he wants everyone to get along. And his resolution is basically like, well, I'll just become super powerful and like make it happen. Kind of reminded me of the scene in Attack of the Clones, where Anakin says, well, they should be made to. Like, they should be made to agree. That's what would kind of let him vulnerable for his like butler or whatever, this guy that just shows up and gives him the demon seed and obviously has corrupted his intentions. And then when they're fighting, you have Red, of course, preaching about like, you can't do things alone. Reina would have helped you. Sentai nonsense, script number 45 of friendship and believe in stuff. And I am curious because like in that he said, your dream is valuable or your goal is important. Now I'm curious, I'm assuming this is what he was talking about, but I'm curious, is he mean his goal of everyone to get along or becoming so powerful that he can make everybody get along? Because I don't think that one is right. I think the first one is right, but when watching it the first time, it was framed to me as like, oh yeah, your goal of just becoming so strong you force everyone to get along. That's right. I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny. But eventually they do sort of start to get through to him, but then like the seed starts to fully take over him and he runs out of control and he's like trapped in this tornado, and you kind of leave off there with Reina pleading with Red to save him. You do get a first situation of having 5 characters for the robot here. Every time it shows up, I'm curious, is his team not have the robot? I mean, probably not, but it's crazy to me that all of the robot like transported with him. It would have admittedly been kind of boring if he just had the one robot, unless it was like a classic Red robot that became its own like humanoid form. But so it obviously makes it cooler to have all 5 of them, but it's crazy to me that he took the whole arsenal with him, and like his team's just like, what do we do if a giant monster shows up? But it was kind of cool to see that because we've seen the robot a bunch, but this felt like the most traditional use in this world of it, where we had actual team of 5 characters fighting up against a big boss. Speaking of, last week's episode did have like some references and stuff. You know, we had the Yu-Gi-Oh guy with the cards, and something somebody pointed out, which I didn't think about, which is maybe also a stretch, but it could be a reference, is that the way that this guy's power, the was power, whatever, works, could be like a stand, like from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I knew this whole series was the work of an enemy stand user. But yeah, overall, solid continuation. I like that they fleshed out his motivations a little bit more. The battle was really cool. Again, my favorite part was still the Sentai gag and getting to see like all the characters come together for the robot. And apparently this is only going to be a few more episodes, but hopefully it continues after this. But let me know what you think of this episode in the comments as always. Until next time, Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.